How would you describe your upbringing?
It was a good upbringing. Where do I start? I grew up, my father was a farm manager. My family, I don't know where to start. Would you guide me a little bit?
Anything you want to share about your experiences in your upbringing?
I grew up in a family where so I wasn't expecting this question. Values and sorry, you've thrown me. You've thrown me.
What was your childhood dream as a little girl?
I have a family member that was a politician and in ANC before and after. I said to him, "Oh, I want to be just like you. I want to be a politician just like you." And he said, "Over my dead body." But that's kind of household I grew up in. And small town in Stellenbosch. It was before, it's now this it's very different now. Small community. What can I say?
Were you a daddy's girl?
I don't know.
Why don't you want to talk
I
about it?
feel like I'm in therapy.
I have a little girl,
Okay.
and when someone asks my little girl, "Are you a daddy's girl?" she starts glowing and she starts. You don't seem to have the same reaction. Why?
Oh, I don't understand. Sorry, you're putting.
You say in your annexure, at your CV,
Yes.
you say
But that's okay.
you say throughout, you use the word throughout my school and university day, I worked various jobs. And then you describe the jobs. You had to work at waitressing, au pairing, giving wine tasting. But you say throughout
Yes.
your school days.
Yes. So
What do you mean by that?
the rule in our home was in the holidays, we weren't allowed to sit in front of the TV. We needed to work. So because my dad managed the farm and we lived on the farm, we would then get a job carrying the wine to the car and getting a tip, or waitressing, depending on the age, doing some waitressing, giving wine tastings, and that kind of thing. So that would be in school holidays. And then when I was in Stellenbosch studying, it would be weekends. So I would give wine tastings at 2 farms because they would, the one weekend here, because they would rotate, students would get jobs in that. And then when I started studying through UNISA, then I, through a family friend, found an au pairing job, so then I could study and then pick up the kids. And then I would sometimes waitress maybe 3 or 4 times in that evening. And that's kind of how I, those sort of odd jobs.
Then 2011, you say you packed a suitcase with only the essentials.
Quite literally, yes. So I had...
And made your way to Joburg.
Yeah. I had quite literally sent my CV. Now, remember, I was studying through UNISA, so I hadn't gotten very far in my studies. So to try and get your articles as a candidate attorney is near impossible. So I made an Excel spreadsheet of every single law firm in Cape Town and then started with the Joburg. And eventually one company, John Walker Attorneys, got back to me and they said, listen, we are now doing this inquiry into Pamotsi Gold, but we need someone on this. You're going to have to come to Joburg in the next 2 days. And I said, the time was about 4:30 in the afternoon. I said, cool, book me a flight for 2:30 tomorrow. I've been to Johannesburg once. I literally packed a bag and the secretary had me on her couch for a couple of days while she helped me find a room to rent. And that's how I got there.
Yeah. You want to go back to how would you describe your upbringing?
I had a very good upbringing and very grateful for my upbringing.
Why?
There's too many reasons.
Give me one. Okay. So,
It's quite personal, I feel like. Yeah.
yeah. So then in 2015, so now you just have a bag, go to Joburg, you're gonna start this job, sleeping on the couch, you're trying to make a way for yourself. 2015, at age 31, you then look on Google, see this guy, Mr. O'Sullivan. And Google will show you hero. Google will show you the master investigator. And that's what you are introduced to. Do you have a pen with you?
A pen.
There. You have a pen with
Yes,
you?
I do. I do.
You have a blank page? It's my time, guys. Relax. It's my 30 minutes. Your pen? Draw a 6. Draw a 6. Do you see the 6?
Yep.
Now, if I had to stand on the opposite side of you, that same 6 will look like a 9 to me.
Mm.
You see that? Who would be wrong?
It depends on which side of the page you're standing on.
So if I say to you, I see a 9, you say to me, no, I see a 6. Who would be wrong?
I'd say, yes, you see a 9 and I see a 6.
So neither would be wrong.
Yeah.
So Google was right. But Google only showed you from one perspective, right? Until you got into it. And you also started seeing the whole. It can exist at the same time. And my fear, Ms. Trent, is that you don't want to talk about the whole and the things that you really experienced. So I'm going to try and see if we can get there. You see, I put it to you. Listen to your story. And I put it to you that you are for the boardroom, not the streets. You are about books, not bullets. But you are a dove in a snake's den. And you began to see the whole wasn't as Google showed you. Miss Trent, does Mr. Paul O'Sullivan care about you?
No.
Doesn't? And you're sitting there, and the reason why you can't explain anything to anybody here is because you're trying hard to explain something that you yourself don't even understand. I'm going to give you an opportunity to try and speak about the things you don't want to speak about. And when you couldn't afford your legal fees, he didn't think to pay for you. Miss Trent, does Paul O'Sullivan care about you?
As far as I'm concerned, no.
During this arrest, his lawyer comes to pick him up. You stand outside, stranded in the dark. He drives off, leaves you there alone. Miss Trent, does Paul O'Sullivan care about you? Look around you. Turn around. Who's here with you? Who? Nobody. He walked out on you again. And yet, you must sit there and try and cover up these holes. But whilst you're doing that, I'm here to warn you, you're digging a deeper grave for yourself. Yeah. Because you can't explain the things that you're trying to. But you truly believed that what you were doing was genuinely trying to make the country better. But I want to show you the holes. And when I show you the holes, you're going to have to decide. Are you going to be honest about it and say, hey, that's wrong? Because you know what? When you were 38 years old, you resigned. You weren't fired. You resigned. Biologically, your prefrontal cortex.
I'd been in a lot of therapy.
Yeah.
And
Now let me.
it was starting to work.
Yeah, your prefrontal cortex was now online for over a decade, and you were no longer apologizing for your boundaries, and you decided, I'm leaving. That's why you left. And you walked out, and you went to go help orphans, because that's really who you are, not what you've been experiencing for 7 years. So now you're in your 40s. And let me tell you, if you're not going to decide today what you walked away from, you're going to continue walking. You're going to be stuck at this point for the remainder of your life. You have to make a choice today. Are you going to open those holes, or you want to defend it? Walk away. You survived already. You're independent now. You have your own company. But what you do in the next few minutes is going to determine whether it's going to pull you back or push you forward. Paul O'Sullivan is not coming for you. You are alone. Ms. Trent, you guys were not investigators. In section number 18, paragraph 18 of your affidavit, paragraph 18 of your affidavit, on 9 November 2016, Paul O'Sullivan met two IPED officers, and then you describe it, and then you say they were entitled to receive assistance in their investigations and were entitled to provide this assistance at their request. You then say this included what? Informing them if and when we had any new information, carrying out certain forensic report checks, that's what you were qualified to do, on persons of interest, desktop research, and consulting from time to time. Now, that is within the framework of the law. You were informants, not investigators. The moment you say you're an investigator, that's why you put that section there, but that is outside of the legal framework for what you guys were doing. When you say you informants, you are then saying you are assisting the police with information with their investigation. You were not doing the investigation. Yeah? I'm not saying it's in your affidavit, but that's not what you've been saying the whole time. You know why you haven't been saying it? You're about to talk now, and I'm giving you the understanding of what truth is, because that will set you free. You were not investigators. You were informants. It's described here, as you have described it here, is how it should be. That's legal. Do you see that?
I see that.
Now, take me to the day on 9th November when you went to Mr. Patlane's house. How did that happen? Did Paul call you, or how did that happen?
I can't remember. I would have been at the office.
Yeah. So you at the office, what happened?
We get in the car and
No, but how does this happen? You at the office, you don't know about going to Patlane's house. He comes and tell you.
I can't remember because he could have asked me to call Mantla Mahlangu, or he called me, or I'm not sure how the communication was, but at the end of the day, it was agreed that we would meet at 7.
Yes, but he explains to you, you are going there for what?
Oh, we're going to show the IPN investigators the house and to go and see the estate manager.
Wow.
I can't remember exactly what was said. Please, I need to.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Relax, listen. Trust me. I have some inclination of what you're going through.
Yeah.
It's on you to just be truthful.
Absolutely.
Now, the idea you have is you going to deal with corruption, you're going to find evidence for it. That's you, because that's the impression you're getting. And it's your job. You're going to get in with your boss and you're going to go there, right?
Yeah,
You know what?
correct.
Do you know what really happened? What really happened, Ms. Trent, is that 11 months ago, before that day, your boss sent a threatening email to General Patlane. And he wanted him to deal with General, is it Musun or Moon?
Munu.
Munu. He wanted him to deal with Munu. And then he gave him 10 days to deal with Munu, and if he doesn't, then he's going to take focus off Munu and he's going to go for him. The 10 days passed. Patlane refused. He didn't do anything. And guess what Paul did? Now, if it was about corruption, then you guys should then deal with both Munu, and General Patlane, because it's about corruption. It's not about the person, but because of Paul O'Sullivan's God status, which you know about. He needs to decide. We're not going after him. We're going after him because he doesn't want to do what I tell him to do. And you just have to follow. You went that day on the 9th of November, not because there was some investigation that came up. It's because Paul O'Sullivan decided to change his target because General Patlane did not obey him. You guys now get there. As you walk in, you're now there with two IPED officials. Do you tell the staff there, you are not iPad officials? Do you tell them?
I don't say I am not an iPad official. But I introduce myself, yes.
Sorry?
I introduce myself, but I
That's
don't.
what?
It's Sarah Jane Trent from Paul O'Sullivan and Associates. And look, I'd rather give the
That's okay.
recordings or the transcript.
It's not your fault. You were not supposed to do that. Your boss was supposed to do that. Your boss was supposed to say, I am Paul O'Sullivan. These are iPad official. The fact that you guys didn't say that, now you,
Possible that he did. It is possible.
he
Sorry.
testified he didn't,
Okay.
right? So you are an attorney, although you're not practicing. But there's a legal principle called the color of office, where you present yourself as something without saying, but the impression of the people is that you are. Misrepresentation by silence. And that's what you're not guilty of. You did not, you had a legal duty. Not you, your boss. But if you want to continue to close up the holes for your boss, you're right in there with him. Your boss had a legal responsibility to say with his mouth, we are not police officers. The fact that he didn't means it was misrepresentation by silence, because psychologically all of you knew that if you don't say it, there's a huge possibility that the perception might be you are together as police, all of you. And you played the role together, that's why you could ask the question. When you use the iPad office, it is all giving the impression that you're part of iPad. Misrepresentation by silence. Do you see that?
I see what you're saying, yes.
Now separate yourself from that. Do you know how you do it? Truthfully, which is not a lie. Your boss instructed you. You were doing your job. You went with the understanding that you're not fighting corruption. And that's the truth.
Yeah.
Stop trying to explain something that you have no clue of. That's how you separate yourself. The semi-social relationship that you had with Mr. McBride, was that meant to be private?
Yes.
No one should know. Do you know why, Ms. Trent? Because to your boss, that too was leverage. Your access card to information was that relationship. You know why he chose to pay for McBride's legal fees and not yours? Because you good enough for him to have something on McBride. And he needs to get him and keep him in his job, because he needs that in order to solve these cases. Ms. Trent, you were used, but you were brave, you walked away. Keep walking. Keep walking. All the best.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair.